So real quick on the second channel, I did a video for Eminem and Kid Cudi's new song. You can find it in the description and the pinned comment. I tell you, man, NBA fans, we love position rankings. I think point guard and center are the most fun, which is why I'm doing this one. We'll eventually get to the other positions, but top 15 centers, the Embiid Jokic thing is going to pop up again. If we're going by this year, Jokic was better than Embiid. But let's dive in. Let's see what else we've got. So, we have, Christian Wood already in there. Big fan of that. Not entirely sure if Christian Wood is technically a center, but I'll take it. Valanciunas, he's been good for the Grizzlies, no doubt. Derek Favors. I kind of feel like Favors is the best of these five. Like, his numbers might be the least impressive, but I think he's the best at screen setting, defense. Valanciunas is probably a little better of a rebounder, but I think Favors is right there with him. In the case of Harrell, he's the worst defender of everybody here. Actually, Brook Lopez would be the best defensive player of everybody here. I mean, Brook Lopez's rim protection has been fantastic this year, and he fits in so well with the Bucks' defensive system. The thing with Brook is that his shooting has been bad. He's in like the 20s on three-pointers this year. But I like this five. I'm very okay with this five. I think Christian Wood has the highest potential of everybody here once we really see him getting some minutes. But I'm cool with this. The temptation to vault Christian Wood higher is real, yeah. I mean, I've already said he's the star the Pistons have needed. So, I mean, there you go. Offensive variety is still enough to get him by, even if he doesn't shore up his defense. Yeah, we'll have to see with him there. But he goes off the dribble, he can finish, he's shown some shooting as well. Valanciunas is navigating center's new world order just fine. Three-point shot he's tested over the past few seasons is a big part of it. 37% of his triples on a career high, 1.7 attempts per 36 minutes. Yeah, his three is very stiff, but it kind of goes in. And defenders are still liable to look like puny humans when he goes to work down low. Yeah, he is one of the better low-post centers in the league, certainly. Favors is easy to miss among bigs with more bedecked, sorry English teachers, offensive tricks. Yeah, he just does the center stuff well. New Orleans has done a nice job of establishing his fit, even when he plays with Zion Williamson at the four. Yeah, I've seen some people say that he and Zion can't work together. I don't agree. I think the spacing is fine with those two, even if they're both guys who like to finish at the rim. It just kind of works. Part of it is because Favors is very smart. They can't afford not to play Favors. Very true. The same was true for the Utah Jazz. Was it entirely true? The Gobert Favors thing? I mean, I don't know. You can... They had to get rid of him because the fit with those two wasn't as good. Anyway, yeah, I'm good with that one. Montrez at number 12, probably the worst defender of the group. But yeah, relentless is the word that best encapsulates Montrezl Harrell. Yeah, I mean, he's like 6'8", he plays harder than everybody else, he's athletic, he's very crafty. Montrez is maybe going to get paid this offseason, we don't totally know. He was certainly going to before the Rona hit, so that'll be interesting. Brook Lopez, yeah, I mean, for the sake of time, we're just going to go, but, like, his defensive utility takes care of the rest. Like, his rim protection has been amazing this year. Steven Adams, similar to Favors, he just does it all on a little better of a level. He's a banger on the boards, doesn't need credit for team success. Yeah, he had an interesting thing somewhere where he said, like, he was actually happy when his block shots went down because it showed that he could still impact the defensive side of the floor without blocking a bunch of shots, you know? So according to Forbes' Nick Crane, Adams is probably the smartest basketball player I've ever played with or against. He certainly knows what he's doing out there. Adams doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And this shows just how good you can be, like, at center. Like, if you just do all the stuff well, even if your numbers are not jumping out, you can still be really good. Serge Ibaka at number 9. Serge manages to keep getting better. It's kind of wild. He was really good for the Raptors this year. Although I can't help but think that Marc Gasol is now not going to appear on this list, and I get it, he was hurt this year and stuff, but I think Marc Gasol is really crucial to what the Raptors do, and I think we'll see it in the playoffs. So maybe I would have Gasol as the guy here, if not Ibaka. I mean, 16 points, 3 attempts a game from outside. You remember when the Raptors traded for Ibaka and we were all like, well, it's okay, but they didn't go for Millsap? I think it's ended up working out pretty good for him. Ibaka is more offensively oriented than he was earlier in his career. I think he does a little bit more off the dribble now. Because one thing with Ibaka for a while is he had no playmaking whatsoever. Like, if you trapped the ball handler against him, Ibaka was not going to do anything to kill you with that. Whereas now, there's a little bit more there. I think also the fact that he plays center kind of all the time now is a big deal. I'm still interested to see how much he and Gasol and Siakam play together in the postseason. Because that could be Toronto's best lineup. Because Siakam is so good, I think you could play him at the 3, no problem. And yeah, Toronto's very good. Marcus Aldridge, San Antonio Spurs. Oh yeah, LA is a center. That's why my guy Jakob Poeltl isn't playing that much. He's forgettable. That's the best way to put it. And part of it is he's on the Spurs. They're not that good, all that stuff. But what was it, 2 years ago? He was really, really good when they were still going through the Kawhi thing. I think he put up like 20-something a game, and Spurs offense was still pretty good without Kawhi, and you thought that getting DeRozan would kind of springboard him up into at least something, and that really hasn't happened. But Aldridge is still pretty good, and I think, is he going to be on a different team in a couple years? I mean, his contract doesn't have too much time left, and I wouldn't be shocked if somebody wanted to trade for him. 4 3-point attempts per game since December 23rd. Yeah, he was taking threes, which I think adds a little bit more value to everything he's got going on. And I do think he can still be an okay rim protector. It depends on the system and everything. But I mean, if Brook Lopez can become a plus defender by just backing up on screens, then I feel like Aldridge could do a similar thing, you know? Well, this is an DeAndre Ayton at number 7. Okay, I don't know if I agree with this. 19 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks in 33 minutes. The production is certainly there. It's just, I feel like with Ayton, or with centers in general, so much of what makes a center good doesn't show up in the stats, you know? Like, I'm not against Ayton being here, but number 7, like, I'll tell you right now, I think Ibaka's better than Ayton. I think Steven Adams is better than Ayton. I think Derek Favors is better than DeAndre Ayton. Brook Lopez, I mean, is Ayton, like, is he more talented than a lot of these guys? Sure, but possession to possession, I don't think he's as good, whether it's boxing out, covering pick and rolls, setting a good screen, just all that type of stuff. And so now we have Nikola Vucevic at number 6. Wow. Okay. The Magic have managed to be a good defensive team with Vucevic playing. And it's like, do I credit him for that? Or is it more Steve Clifford and the system of daring teams to shoot certain shots, and the Magic, they load up on the defensive boards and they don't commit a lot of turnovers and they don't foul a lot? Like, is it more of that stuff, or is it Vucevic being a good defensive player? I don't totally know. I do think Vucevic is kind of similar to Ayton, where, like, is he really the 6th best center in the NBA? I don't know. I mean, the offense is better than the defense with him, but I don't know. But number 6, like, I still think Steven Adams is better than Vucevic as well. So, in fact, it just kind of dawned on me that Clint Capella is probably not going to be on this list, and Marc Gasol definitely isn't either. And I'll tell you right now, I'd rather have those two than Vucevic and Ayton, so for whatever that's worth. Bam at number 5. I am very okay with this one. I had Bam somewhere on my All-NBA list, although a lot of it was because Embiid didn't play as much. Is Bam the most versatile player in the NBA? I think it's possible. I mean, his playmaking, his switchability defensively, I think he's the heart of Miami. I think, depending on how far they go in the postseason, it's really going to depend on what Bam does, and if he's able to do his elbow passes and all that stuff. Something here. When the Heat look at Adebayo, they don't see a position, and even before they took him 14th overall, they didn't see a prospect who should be boxed into a role. Yeah. I mean, if Bam would have ended up somewhere else, there's a chance he would have been riding the bench, he would have been more of a role guy, he wouldn't have had the ball. But Spoelstra's like, oh yeah, you want to bring the ball up after every rebound? Go for it, Bam. Not only do we allow you to do that, we're going to embrace you doing that. Everybody's going to run when you do that and that type of thing. So, yeah, Bam number 5. I like it. And I don't think Bam is done. I think there's definitely a lot of room for improvement with him, and it could mainly come from three-point range. Yeah, I mean, Zach Lowe had a whole thing about Bam earlier, and by all accounts, Bam can make threes, but he's not shooting them in NBA games yet, so we're going to have to see there. Gobert at number 4. Okay, so they have Jokic, Towns, and Embiid over Gobert. No Sabonis? They're considering Sabonis the power forward, I guess? Yeah, I guess that's okay. I mean, sure. Anyway, Gobert at number 4. Yeah, I mean, I think he dipped a little bit defensively as the year ended because he was a little something about not getting the ball enough and whatever, but I mean, Gobert is just, his simple existence alone does so much for Utah. So it's like, even on an off night, Gobert's rim protection is still amazing, and I know, the same spiel's gonna come, yeah, well, against the Rockets, okay, fine. But like, let's compare him to the dudes above. You think Towns can defend the Rockets? No. You think Embiid can defend the Rockets? Potentially. And we're talking about, like, last 2 years Rockets. You think Jokic can defend the Rockets? Like, the whole, like, Gobert can't be as amazing against one team, is it a little overblown? I mean, potentially not, but yeah, he's still the 4th best center in the NBA. I mean, there's a clear divide between Gobert and, well, Bam's kind of close, but like 4, 5, and then everybody else, there's a drop-off, right? So for Gobert, it's like, yeah. And he is a little underrated offensively. I mean, his screen setting is great, his rolling is good, and he's a very good lob threat, and he's gotten to, 60% on free throws, and he gets fouled a decent amount of the time. Like, Gobert is a very good player. The case for Gobert over Towns is that Gobert has actually won in the NBA, whereas Towns, he did for a little bit, but if you want to be cynical, you could say that was more Jimmy Butler. With Towns, it's just the offensive ceiling is so damn high. And the other thing with Towns, too, is like, for all the talk about his defense, the Wolves have never been that negative with Towns in the game. I mean, in his rookie season, they were minus 2.6 when he was on the court. And since then, they've basically been a neutral, while being much better when Towns plays. Now, the fact that the Wolves haven't been that good throughout that time, besides the Jimmy year, like, take that for whatever you will, but it's just, I think there's this idea that because Towns is not a great defensive player, that the Wolves are just secretly horrible with him in the game. It's like, no, it's actually not the case, even if he still needs to improve on that side of the floor. The logic that I'm applying to Towns, could you say it's similar to what I was saying about Ayton and Vucevic? Yes, the difference is it's Karl Anthony frickin' Towns, and that's the difference. I mean, you know what I mean? So, I'm okay with it. The Towns Gobert thing, it depends on how I'm feeling on the day of the week, on who's better. And now, Embiid number 2. This is a good way to put it. When he's engaged, Embiid shows flashes of Gobert-level defense and Karl Anthony Towns-level offense. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he doesn't shoot threes like Towns, but I see what they're getting at. It's just, with Embiid, it's how often is he at that level? I mean, when Embiid is at his best, he's the best center in the league. He's the best big man of the last however many years. Like, Embiid at his absolute best is probably better than, like, prime Dwight Howard, if we're being honest. But how often does he get there? That's the question. It's like, I don't know. You give Embiid 10 playoff games, he's going to be amazing in maybe 5 of them. So, until he cleans that up, I'm fine with him being number 2. And then, of course, Jokic, number 1. Yeah, it's cool. Nikola Jokic is on track to be one of the best centers in NBA history. I don't think that's crazy. I mean, his playmaking is nuts. Like, 20 points, 10 boards, 7 assists. 7 for a big. I feel like Jokic dribbles like a small forward or something. Not like LeBron, but like, who's a better ball handler, Nikola Jokic or Gordon Hayward? Like, it's probably Gordon Hayward, but is it really Gordon Hayward? I don't know. I guess the only real question with Jokic is just how far can Denver go? I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of animosity towards Denver and their playoff success or whatever, but look, they had one real season being on the playoff scene, and they lost in Game 7 off of a couple of really tough, like, CJ McCollum jump shots. I mean, they were very close to getting to the conference finals, and it's not often that a team goes from not making the playoffs to that far in 1 year. Not like it's never happened, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, and I mean, in that Portland series, Jokic, I think he averaged like 27 points a game or something. That was another question with him. It's like, okay, are you going to shoot more when your team needs you to do it? And I think he kind of answered that question. So, yeah, the Embiid-Jokic conversation, it's always going to be a thing. Their careers have kind of been eerily similar. Like, I know their play styles are different, but it's like Embiid has also lost a heartbreaker in Game 7 of a round 2, and yeah. I feel okay with this list overall. I am still a little something about Vucevic at 6 and deandre Ayton at 7, and if I was going to pick one guy to jump up, for me it would be Steven Adams. I think Adams is the guy who could be a little higher. But yeah, that's it. Centers. And one more time, Eminem, Kid Cudi, second channel.